The whole village froze. Mama Adanna stood there, razor in hand, arm raised over the steaming pot of Christmas jollof rice. Her secret, the thing that made her the most celebrated cook in all of Umuahia, was about to be exposed. But here's the insane part. For 15 years, every Christmas, hundreds of people fought to taste her rice. Church members, politicians, even the Igwe himself would send his guards to collect a special portion. They called it heaven on a plate. They said it had magical properties. They had no idea what made it so special. And what her daughter saw that Christmas morning? It would destroy everything. But to understand how we got here, you need to know where it all started. Let me take you back to 2008, when Mama Adanna first made her legendary Christmas rice. She wasn't always the queen of Christmas cooking. No, no, no. 15 years ago, Mama Adanna was just another woman in the village, struggling to feed her 3 children after her husband left her for a younger woman in Aba. That first Christmas as a single mother was the hardest. December 24th, she sat in her small kitchen with only 2 cups of rice, a few tomatoes, and tears running down her face. "God," she whispered, stirring the pot, "please let this rice feed my children and still have some respect in this village." She was sweating from the heat. Without thinking, she wiped under her arms with her wrapper. A few strands of hair, fine dark strands from her armpit, fell into the pot. She saw them floating there. She should have removed them. Any normal person would have. But Mama Adanna was tired, broken, beyond caring. She stirred them into the rice, and what happened next would change her life forever. That Christmas evening, Mama Adanna's small compound had unexpected visitors. Her neighbor, Mama Chidi, came with her children. "Mama Adanna, we heard you cooked. Can we taste small?" Mama Adanna served them, shame burning in her chest. She'd used her last resources for this rice that had those hairs in it. But when Mama Chidi took the first spoonful, her eyes rolled back. "Chai! Mama Adanna, what did you put in this rice? This is not ordinary food." Her children were licking their plates clean. Other neighbors, smelling the aroma, started gathering. "Mama Adanna's rice smells different this year. Please, can we taste?" By nightfall, her entire pot was finished. People were begging for more. Some offered money. The catechist's wife even asked for the recipe on the spot. Mama Adanna was confused. It was just rice, and... Wait, could it be? No, that's impossible. That's disgusting. But the rice had never tasted this good before, never gotten this reaction. That night, Mama Adanna made a decision that would haunt her for 15 years. The next Christmas, people were already asking months in advance, "Mama Adanna, will you make that special rice again? I'll pay you. Name your price. Please, my family is coming from America. I want them to taste it." Mama Adanna knew what she had to do, and she was terrified. December 25th, 2009, early morning, before anyone woke up, she locked her kitchen door, set up her biggest pot, rice, tomatoes, peppers, all the normal ingredients. Then, with shaking hands, she took her husband's old razor from the bathroom. She lifted her arm over the steaming pot. The blade touched her skin. Fine, dark hairs fell like cursed rain into the bubbling red stew. She counted them. 5 strands, 7, 10. She stirred them quickly, mixing them in until they disappeared completely into the thick sauce. Her stomach turned. "God forgive me," she whispered. But when the rice was ready, even better than last year, the whole village came, the priest came, the local government chairman came. Everyone wanted Mama Adanna's Christmas rice, and she smiled and served, pushing down the horrible secret growing in her chest like a tumor. But here's where it gets even more twisted. Year after year after year, the tradition continued. By Christmas 2015, Mama Adanna's rice was legendary. People traveled from Enugu, Onitsha, even Lagos just to taste it. She'd built a proper kitchen with the money, bought 2 cars, sent all 3 children to university. Every newspaper in Imo State had written about the Christmas rice queen of Umuahia. Food bloggers came to interview her. "What's your secret ingredient, Mama Adanna?" She would smile sweetly. "It's love, my dear, just love and prayer. Love and prayer and armpit hair." Her daughter, Chidinma, now 22 and studying medicine at the University of Nigeria, would ask every year, "Mama, teach me the recipe. I want to learn." "Not yet, my daughter, when the time is right." The time would never be right, because how do you tell your daughter, your beautiful, educated daughter studying to save lives, that your fortune was built on this? But in December 2023, everything was about to collapse, because Chidinma was coming home early that Christmas, and she was bringing someone special. Christmas Eve 2023. Chidinma arrived with her fiancé, Emeka, a handsome young doctor from a respected family in Owerri. His parents would be coming Christmas Day to formally meet Mama Adanna and discuss marriage. "Mama, Emeka's mother is very particular about food," Chidinma said excitedly. "When I told her about your famous Christmas rice, she said she must taste it herself." Mama Adanna's blood ran cold. Emeka's mother was Chief Mrs. Okonkwo, the president of the Catholic Women's Organization, a retired food inspector, and the most judgmental woman in 3 local governments. If anyone would discover the secret. "Don't worry, Mama," Emeka said, hugging her. "My mother already loves you because Chidinma talks about you constantly. She says your rice is the best in Nigeria." Mama Adanna forced a smile. Inside, she was screaming. That night, she couldn't sleep. She paced her room, thinking, "Should I just make normal rice this year? But everyone expects the special one. The whole village is coming. What if it tastes different? What if they suspect something? My reputation, my business, everything I've built." But here's what she didn't know. Chidinma had set her alarm for 4 a.m. She wanted to wake up early and help her mother cook. She wanted to finally learn the secret recipe before she got married. And Mama Adanna? She planned to wake at 3:30 a.m. to do what she'd done for 15 years. 1 hour difference, that's all it would take to destroy everything. December 25th, 2023, 3:45 a.m. Mama Adanna crept to the kitchen in the darkness. She'd already started the rice at midnight. It was simmering, ready for the special ingredient. She locked the door from inside, turned on just 1 small bulb, took out the razor. The pot was bubbling perfectly. Red stew, fragrant spices, that distinctive aroma that had made her famous. She lifted her wrapper, raised her arm over the pot. The razor touched her skin. The kitchen door burst open. Chidinma stood there in her nightgown, eyes wide, mouth open in horror. Time stopped. Mother and daughter stared at each other, razor in hand, arm over pot, the truth hanging in the air like smoke. "Mama?" Chidinma's voice was barely a whisper. "Mama? What What are you doing? Mama Adanna's hand started shaking. The razor clattered to the floor. Chidinma, you weren't supposed to. How long? Chidima stepped into the kitchen, her face a mixture of disgust and disbelief. How long have you been doing this? Mama Adanna couldn't speak. Tears started rolling down her face. Answer me! Chidima's voice rose. All these years? All the people? The priests? The children? Emeka's parents are coming today to eat this food. 15 years! Mama Adanna finally screamed. 15 years, Chidima! Do you know where we'd be without it? Do you? The kitchen was silent except for the bubbling pot, that cursed pot that had brought fortune and shame. Mama Adanna collapsed onto a stool. Your father left us with nothing. Nothing! We were eating gari and salt for breakfast. You were wearing torn uniforms to school. Her voice cracked. That first Christmas, it was an accident. The hairs fell in. But people loved it. They loved it, Chidima. And suddenly, we had money, respect, a future. So you kept doing it? Chidima's voice was hollow. What choice did I have? Every year, people expected it. They traveled miles for it. They paid money. Your school fees came from that rice. Your university, your clothes, everything. You fed people your body hair, Mama. For 15 years. Hundreds of people. Thousands of people. Mama Adanna wept openly now. I know. God knows I know. Every year I told myself this is the last time. But I was trapped. How do I stop now? How do I admit what I've done? Outside, they heard a car engine. Emeka's family, arriving early. Chidima looked at her mother, then at the pot, then at the razor on the floor. We have two choices, Mama, she said, her voice cold and steady. And we have to decide right now. Mama Adanna stood up, wiping her tears. What are we going to do? Chidima was quiet for a long moment. Outside, car doors slammed. Voices. Emeka's mother's distinctive laugh. I'm a medical student, Mama. I took an oath, even before becoming a doctor, to do no harm. I looked at the pot with disgust. We're throwing this away. But the village, everyone's expecting it. Emeka's family. They'll eat normal rice. Chidima's voice was firm now. You're going to make new rice, clean rice, and you're going to tell everyone the old recipe is lost. They'll know something is wrong. Then let them know. Chidima grabbed her mother's shoulders. Mama, this has to end. Today, right now. I'm getting married into a respectable family. I won't start my marriage built on this abomination. Mama Adanna looked at her daughter, strong, educated, moral, everything she'd worked for, everything the cursed rice had bought. You're right, she whispered. You're right, my daughter. Together, they carried the pot outside. What are you doing? It was Mama Chidi, already awake and curious. The rice spoiled, Chidima said quickly. Bad tomatoes. We're starting fresh. They poured it into the gutter. 15 years of secrets flowing away in a red stream. But as they turned to go back inside, Mama Chidi was staring at them. She'd seen something, in the rice, in the gutter. What she'd seen would spread through the village like wildfire. By 7 a.m., Mama Adanna had cooked fresh rice, normal rice, no secrets, no shame, just rice. The compound was already filling with people. Emeka's parents arrived in their Mercedes. Chief Mrs. Okonkwo stepped out in full George wrapper, looking like she owned Christmas itself. Ah, Mama Adanna, she boomed. I've traveled from Owerri just to taste this famous rice of yours." Mama Adanna's hands were shaking as she served the food. This was it, the moment of truth. Everyone took their first spoonful. The compound went quiet. Mrs. Okonkwo said, chewing slowly. "It's different this year, Mama Adanna," someone called out. "Not as sweet as before," another voice added. "Did you change the recipe?" Mama Adanna felt her world crumbling. Beside her, Chidima squeezed her hand. Then, Mrs. Okonkwo stood up. Everyone went silent. "This rice," she said loudly, "is exactly how jollof rice should taste. Clean, fresh, proper." She looked directly at Mama Adanna. "Your previous rice always had a strange undertone, something I could never place. But this is respectable food." Mama Adanna nearly fainted. But while Emeka's family was satisfied, the village was confused. "Something is wrong," people whispered. "The rice is different. Maybe she lost her touch. Maybe the secret ingredient is finished." By afternoon, Mama Chidi, the neighbor who'd seen them pour away the rice, was talking to a group of women under the mango tree. "I saw something strange in that rice they threw away," she said, her voice low. "Something that looked like hair." "Hair? Like what kind of hair?" "I don't know. But why would Mama Adanna suddenly say her famous rice spoiled after 15 years? The rumor spread, from compound to compound, from mouth to mouth. By evening, half the village was speculating. And then someone remembered something crucial. Old Papa Okafar, the retired science teacher, spoke up. "You know, in some dark juju practices, people use body parts in food to bind customers." The village went cold. December 26th, Boxing Day. A group of elders, led by the catechist, came to Mama Adanna's compound. "We need to ask you something," the catechist said gravely, "and we need the truth." Mama Adanna knew this moment was coming. Chidima stood beside her, holding her hand. "The rice you've been making all these years," the catechist continued, "people are saying there was something unnatural about it. Some are even saying juju." "It wasn't juju," Mama Adanna said quietly. "Then what was it? What made your rice so special that people became almost addicted to it?" The compound was packed. Everyone wanted to hear the answer. Mama Adanna looked at her daughter. Chidima nodded. "Tell the truth." "It was," Mama Adanna's voice broke. "It was my hair from under my arms. I was shaving it into the rice." The silence was deafening. Then, chaos. "Twafiakwa! Abomination! We've been eating her body hair for 15 years? I'm going to be sick!" Women were crying, men were shouting. The catechist looked like he might faint. But then, Chief Mrs. Okonkwo, who had returned to collect Emeka, stepped forward. "Silence!" Her voice cut through the chaos. Chief Mrs. Okonkwo stood in the center of the compound, commanding respect. "Before we stone this woman, let me ask you all something. How many of you knew she was a desperate widow? How many of you helped her when her husband abandoned her with 3 children?" The crowd shifted uncomfortably. "How many of you gave her money for school fees, for food, for rent?" She looked around at the guilty faces. "None of you. But you were all quick to enjoy her food, to benefit from her when it suited you." "But Chief Mrs., she fed us body hair," someone protested. "And it was wrong. Deeply wrong, disgusting, unacceptable." She turned to Mama Adanna. "What you did was terrible. You should be ashamed." Mama Adanna was weeping. "I am. God knows I am. But Chief Mrs. Okonkwo continued, "let me tell you something about human nature. That rice you all loved, it tasted good because she was a good cook. The hair, it probably made no difference at all. It was your minds that made it special, your greed, your addiction to secret ingredients and special recipes." She raised her voice. "This is a lesson for all of us. We spend so much time looking for magic solutions, special prayers, special anointing oil, special food, when what we need is simple honesty and hard work." The crowd was quiet now, listening. Mama Adanna committed a terrible act, born of desperation. She should face consequences. But let those among you who have never done something shameful for survival cast the first stone. No one moved. The catechist finally spoke. "Chief Mrs. Okonkwo is right. We must handle this properly." He turned to Mama Adanna. "You cannot continue your catering business. Your reputation is destroyed. That is the natural consequence of your actions." Mama Adanna nodded, still crying. "However," the catechist continued, "we will not drive you from the village. Your children have done nothing wrong, and you will spend the next year doing community service, cooking for the less privileged in the church, under supervision, teaching others your actual cooking skills." "I'll do it," Mama Adanna whispered. "Anything to make amends." Chidima spoke up. "And I'll be watching my mother. She'll never do anything like this again, I promise you all." Emeka, who had been silent, finally spoke. "My family and I will support Chidima's decision. What her mother did was wrong, but Chidima herself is blameless. Our marriage plans continue." Some villagers nodded approvingly, others were still disgusted, but the crisis was diffusing. As people began to leave, old Mama Chidi, the first person who tasted the rice 15 years ago, approached Mama Adanna. "I just want you to know," she whispered, "that first Christmas, I knew. The hair was floating on top of my plate. I saw it. But I was so hungry and you were so kind to share that I ate it anyway." Mama Adanna stared in shock. "So maybe we're all a little guilty here," Mama Chidi said with a sad smile, and walked away. 1 year later, Christmas 2024. Mama Adanna's compound was quiet. No crowds, no cars, no cameras. Just her family, Chidima, Emeka, now her son-in-law, her other 2 children, and a few close, forgiving friends. She cooked rice. Simple, clean, honest rice. "It tastes wonderful, Mama," Chidima said, now pregnant with her first child. "Really?" Mama Adanna asked, nervously. "Really, because it's made with real love this time, not desperation, not shame, just love." Emeka nodded in agreement. "My mother was right. You were always a good cook. You just forgot that." Over the past year, Mama Adanna had cooked hundreds of meals at the church for widows, orphans, and the homeless. She'd taught young women her real cooking techniques. She'd confessed her sin to the priest and done penance. Her catering business was gone. Her fame was destroyed. But something else had grown in its place. Peace. "You know what I learned?" Mama Adanna said to her children as they ate together. "The real secret ingredient was never in the pot. It was in my heart, and for 15 years my heart was filled with fear and lies." "And now?" Chidima asked. "Now it's filled with gratitude. I have my children, my grandchild coming, my dignity back. That's more valuable than all the fame in Nigeria. There's an old saying, a pot of soup made with stolen ingredients will never satisfy the soul. I fed people's stomachs with deception, but I was starving my own soul." She looked around at her small, honest gathering. "This Christmas, for the first time in 16 years, I can eat my own food without shame." The village never forgot the story of Mama Adanna's Christmas rice. It became a cautionary tale told to children. Beware of secret ingredients. The best recipes require only truth, hard work, and genuine love. Anything else, no matter how sweet it tastes at first, will eventually turn bitter. Some people never forgave her. Others, quietly, respected her honesty in the end. But everyone learned the same lesson. There are no shortcuts to real success, and secrets, no matter how carefully stirred in, will eventually rise to the surface. Moral: desperation can lead us to terrible choices, but true redemption comes not from hiding our shame, but from facing it, confessing it, and working honestly to make amends. Real success built on lies will never bring peace. Only the truth can set us free. If this story made you think twice about secret ingredients, hit that subscribe button. Next week, I'm bringing you an even darker African folktale about a village masquerade with a terrifying secret. You don't want to miss it. And remember, in life and in cooking, honesty is always the best policy. Even if the truth tastes bitter at first, it's better than sweet lies that poison the soul. Happy Christmas. Cook with clean hands and a clean heart.